We live in a world right now where as women, it feels like we might be moving backwards instead of forwards in terms of having the power to make change. But I really believe that we as women have the ability, just one woman to the next woman to the next woman, to create a series of events that's transformational personally and transformational for us as a group. I spent the first 20 years of my career trying to do it all, working my way up the corporate ladder. I got to be a chairman and CEO multiple times of ad agencies. I was a single mom, raising two amazing daughters. And in one instant, when I got a call from my oncologist that the little bit of cancer that I had been managing turned into the big cancer that I had to deal with, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna take a few weeks off my job, have the surgery, get back into this game and keep pushing and keep leading. And what happened?
When I went to my boss of 25 years to say, hey, been through this before, we're gonna go through it again, he said, oh, well, we'll have someone else run the company. And in essentially a week, I lost my health, my job, and my last child was going to college. At that time, that was me stripped down to my barest. So what do when that happens to you, when you're sort of everything that was your definition is stripped away?
And that was a time where I really reframed my life and had to stop and think about, okay, what do I value? And what have I been missing? And what are the other meaningful pieces in my life that at the end of the course of my life will make me feel that I have done something meaningful? And it was looking back as a sister, as a daughter, as an alumna of Wellesley College, that I recognized that interactions with other women where we really could tell our truths, I was missing that, and I was feeling isolated and lonely because I didn't have that. And so I've dedicated this next chapter of my life to creating those meaningful connections with women that are not about how we succeed in a corporate sense, but they're how we succeed in a human sense, and how we pull each other forward when we do so.
And here's one small example. I have a young woman that I started to coach. She was in Cambodia, super high-performing young woman who wanted to go to college in the US, and she won a scholarship through an organization called She Can, which means Shaping Her Education Can Change a Nation. And they empower high-performing young women in post-genocide countries to go become the next generation of leaders. And this little spunky girl, she's like 4'10", 80 pounds soaking wet, she has got it down. And then came time to take the TOEFL exam, which is English as a second language. There aren't many people in Cambodia taking the exam. It was terribly monitored, terribly executed, with all sorts of miscues about timing and sound, and she didn't do well enough. We knew what scores she needed to get in order to get a scholarship to an American college, and she didn't do enough. Not by a lot, but by sort of 5 points that the schools cared about. And we're thinking, what are we gonna do? We have the most amazing student ever. And I happened to be talking to a young woman, couldn't have been more than 27 years old, who teaches mindfulness in inner city schools here in San Francisco. And she teaches kids who might not know how to let out their anger and their aggression to think about how to calm themselves down, how to self-soothe. And I thought, I wonder if she could call Liak and talk to her about some of those skills. So this 27-year-old agreed and was willing to spend a half an hour of her time and the cost of a phone call to call this young woman.
Think about what that was. 30 minutes of taking your natural power and applying it to another person in a way that pulls her forward. What if we each did that once a week? My talks resonate most with people who know that change is needed, but don't necessarily know how to get started. And I think the best advice that I can give is to find the place where your passion, the thing you really care about, meets your prowess, your natural ability. And if you can find the intersection of that place where your passion and your prowess come together, it's very likely that in a single conversation, in a single action, in one activity, you're all of a sudden going to be able to pass something that's easy for you onto someone else for whom it isn't as easy and make a meaningful change for her. I'm going to leave to you that you have a whole level of power that you might not have even thought you had in the tiny things, that you don't even know the cascade of meaning and good that will happen as a result of something you choose to do by living that conscious, small action life.